Brothers and sisters, gather around, for the nose has returned. What's that intro? Hey everybody, the Sea Tactics. We are back again talking about a brand new episode of Attack on Titan final season. And this week, whoo boy! Now there wasn't in this week many great, amazing moments in my opinion. This stops the streak. We were gonna go 4 for 4 with, you know, best Attack on Titan episodes in a row. I don't think this one kind of meets that, but y'all, the hardening has been undone, so you know what that means, right? Annie's back. That's right. Next episode, if we don't see Annie, I actually may cry, like legitimately. I just may do that anyways. Anyways, let's get into the video. So, continuing from the last episode, the rumbling is here. We get to see some of Mr. Leonhart, which I loved that they showed that at the beginning because that obviously teases what happens at the very end, of course, with Annie, you know, getting unhardened. I guess you could say flaccid, and that's a terrible joke. Annie's, look, guys, I'm excited, okay? Big Nose is back. We got Big Nose. She's gonna come back. It's gonna be great. Though, we don't know what side Big Nose is on. We'll talk about that later in the video. So the very beginning of this episode, I like that they focused in on Gabby and Reiner because they're trying to go and they're trying to find Falco. And they think that pretty much, you know, because of the importance of Falco being one of the 9 Titans, that he's captured by Connie and John, which makes perfect sense. They would not leave someone like one of the 9 Titans out there to be picked up by whoever. Also, just the fact that they could take Falco, and as we figure out here in a second, you know, which is what they actually do, but they could also take Falco and feed it to someone of importance, much like they did with Bertolt. That being said, Reiner needs to rest. He's been hit by one of the debris of the wall since his hardening has been undone, and he's brought to a home to basically just sleep, pretty much. And Reiner tells Gabby that her new responsibility is to now tell Marley what the hell's going on here. And you have to think that Gabby has already been through quite a bit, and the fact that she has been through quite a bit and still keeps on going forward, pushing forward, that is not an intentional reference there. It's just literally she just keeps going. Like, no matter what happens to Gabby, she doesn't give up in the face of anything. And that goes for this scene too. We see firsthand experience in this scene that Gabby, like, no one can stop Eren, except Gabby believes she can, because maybe it's just because she's 12. I don't know. She has this ego about herself because she's 12 and she thinks she's invincible, or it could just be the fact that she just has no other option than to believe, or maybe she just has just the worst PTSD at this point and she's just like, man, let's just keep going. Just fudge it, man. Let's do this. But Gabby has to leave Reiner to sleepy sleep. Love Gabby. Gabby's great. She does up her hair in this scene again, and I'm like, oh, she's back. She's back. This next scene is also really good too. I commend the character writing in this scene. It was phenomenal. So this whole scene really is just John, Connie, Mikasa, and Armin trying to reason with one another what to just do next. And it starts off really with this great piece of dialogue with John, where John, he's trying to reason through his head what Eren has done and if it's right or wrong, because he goes through, he says a couple things that I think is really cool. He says, you know, that he sacrificed humanity for Paradis, and he doesn't know if that's the right thing or not because, you know, they had enemies on the other side of, you know, the ocean and stuff. And it's hard to say, it's hard, you know, it's hard when the face value is that you are saved, right? When in reality, you know, what is being done here is Eren is potentially killing everyone on Earth for a mass genocide event so that he can protect a small portion of the population. I can't even imagine what's going through their heads trying to reason through this, because on one hand you have to go, well, I'm happy that we're safe, but at the same time, at this cost, it doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense, and it's interesting to say the least, I think, how they go through this. They then switch their topic to that of Falco. Jean wants to feed Falco to someone of importance, much like they did with Bertolt when they fed him to Titanized Armin. I think this is really interesting because all three of them, generally speaking, have a different kind of answer, and I think none of them are technically wrong for feeling the way they do, and you could even make an argument that all three of these reasons could be argued as the right choice. So for example, since Jean wants to feed Falco to someone of importance, you could say that could be the right choice because while Falco is a warrior candidate, it is probably more valuable to have someone who isn't the, at least at this point, the perceived enemy, to give it to someone, you know, like a Commander Pixis, who is a Titan right now. As for Connie feeding Falco to his mother, yeah, I mean, it's not really technically a great tactical choice to feed what is essentially the Jaw Titan to someone's mother. At the same time, from an emotional perspective, this is someone that, you know, Connie has, when visiting this village, has seen over and over in this terrible state. So, and the fact that Connie thinks, and everybody else probably thinks that, well, since we don't know what's going to happen, if we can even stop Eren at this point, maybe we should just go ahead and feed Falco to his mother and just see what happens. So, at least from that perspective, you can sort of argue it. And then for Armin, I think his argument is the best one along with Jean's, but I think his for sure is the one that should win out here. And that's, I think, the most correct one, is that don't feed him to anyone, because if you feed Falco to anyone, then Reiner and Gabby and all of that, as we see later, Gabby definitely would have been extremely angry. You know, you can't do that because it would continue a cycle. And once again, I've said it in previous episodes or videos or whatever, Attack on Titan is all about this cycle of revenge, these things that keep happening and building upon one another. It's as plain as day when you just go back, especially through season 3. It's a big theme in season 3, and it's continued on in this final season. So I mean, I agree with Armin. I think they should break this cycle and they should not feed Falco to anyone. That being said, there's a Titan that comes in the way, and through that, Connie is able to grab Falco and basically escape, which you think, well, Connie is going to go feed Falco to his mother. And they don't go after him because at this point, I mean, how, like, they have really nothing to go after him with. First of all, there's also a billion rumbling Titans about right now. So it's just like, well, that happened, right? That being said, we get more Gabby Goat in this episode. Gabby Goat is always the goat because she's Gabby and therefore Gabby is goat. Also, it rhymes. Alliteration, I think, is what we call this one, right? So Kaya is in trouble. She's running from a Titan and she ends up hitting her head and falling down some flight of stairs. And a Titan comes to try and heal her. I think it's one of the very same Titans we saw talking to Falco in an earlier episode about family and stuff and wanting to see family before he is turned into a Titan. As Kaya thinks that history is going to repeat itself and that she is going to be eaten just like her mother, Gabby Goat. She comes out of nowhere. She has that big anti-Titan weaponry pipe, PTRS-41 gun, snipes the pure Titan, saves Kaya, and then, here we go. She takes a run, she jumps, barrel stuffs the Titan, shoots its head off, pretty much, killing the Titan, saving Kaya, and officially becoming Sasha. Now, I know a lot of people are very angry about Gabby on Twitter because people on Twitter just, I don't know, they're not happy with their lives and they don't have much to do. So they make up ridiculous statements like, Gabby is the replacement Sasha. To which I say, yes, she's the better Sasha. That was a joke. We're being facetious. Don't yell at me. We're playing, okay? We're playing. No, God. Oh no. Yeah, no, this was great though. I love the harkening back to Sasha. This is not literally, like, people will say this on Twitter. They're crazy, but they'll say like, oh, this is where they're trying to like erase Sasha from history and they're trying to make you like Gabby. No, this is literally, thematically speaking, this is Kaya re-experiencing an event in her life later down the road of being saved by Gabby, who was the person that ironically killed Sasha, which signifies Gabby's turn from being a devil to someone who has become, air quotes, a morally good person, or a protagonist, or maybe protagonist is not the super correct term here, but a good guy, gal. whatever phrase you want to use there. Gabby, you're supposed to get from this scene is that she has once again redeemed herself. And you can, of course, go check out my video recently I put out where I explain all about how Gabby's life got flipped turned upside down and she was able to redeem herself. So you can go check that out. It's in the cards. It just popped up. Go click it. Go watch it. It's great. You can come back to this video later or you can wait till it's done. I'm fine. Just go watch it because it's a great video. Just like all the other videos on my channel, which you should definitely go watch because they're great and I love them all. They're like my little children. So after Gabby becomes the new Sasha, Kaya and the Browse family, they basically stick up for Gabby and Nicolo, who at some point these soldiers show up and they're like, are you Marlians? We're gonna shoot you. And then the Browse family is like, no. These are our siblings. So it was really cool for them to stick up in that moment for them because, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, episodes before this, not too long ago, we were stuck with a situation where the Browse family absolutely hated Gabby and Falco. Kaya almost killed Gabby. And now Gabby has done such a 180 that Kaya's like, man, yeah, you killed like my hero and all that, but like, you're the new Sasha now. And I'm just gonna keep doing that joke because it's funny. But yeah, it's a great scene. It's a great scene. Really heartfelt, really emotional. Definitely enjoyed it from every perspective. And the closing to this scene is even better because this is also great because you have this moment where Gabby realizes that there aren't, technically speaking, a thing called Eldian devils. Gabby realizes herself in this moment, and this is the final key to Gabby's character and really understanding who Gabby is. Gabby realizes that she was the devil all along, and I love the clarification from Nicolo because it's important that Nicolo says this because of course Nicolo is the one that loved Sasha, but as well he says there is a devil inside all of us. And I like that phrase because it's so true. There is a devil inside of all of us. And we choose to nurture that devil or we choose to not nurture that devil. And I think that is such an important life lesson that is a really cool, underrated moment in this scene that I greatly adored. What I also adored is this musical sequence. This was something you'd see out of Attack on Titan Season 1. This is how cool this stuff was. I mean, this was quintessential Survey Corps with thunder spears and their blades just slicing through napes, blowing people up. We get a nice payoff of Pixis's character. He's killed in this, and it's very sad, but at the same time, you're like, all right, but this is kind of cool though. Also, it has like a Man with a Mission song. At least that's what it sounds like. Man with a Mission. I don't think it is, but it sounds a lot like Man with a Mission. So I wouldn't be surprised if they found their way into the soundtrack. It is Hiroyuki Sawano, the other guy I'm forgetting the name of. So they love doing stuff like this. So maybe it is Man with a Mission, or just one of the lead vocalists for Man with a Mission. Who knows? If you know, put down in the comments below, because I know the tracks are already out there. So if you know who did this, I just love to know. That would be a pretty cool thing to know. You know? So Floch is still alive. Yeah, he's an asshole still. Points a gun at Yelena. And here's the thing about Attack on Titan, especially with Floch's character, is there will be like asshole characters that do asshole things to other asshole characters. And I'm just like, man, why do you gotta be an asshole to that asshole? I mean, that was an asshole, but you don't gotta be an asshole back. You know what I'm saying? And this is like one of those scenes where I'm like kind of sympathetic for Yelena because you also realize in this episode that Zeke kind of freaking lost and Floch's an asshole, points a gun at Yelena. I'm like, Yelena's like, she's tall, dude. Leave her alone. She's got enough problems. She hits her head on shit. Like, I don't make fun of Annie for her big nose. I love her big nose. I mean, I could build an entire, I could marry Annie and then we could build like a house under that nose and we could just live happily together, kept warm by the shade. Well, I don't think you would be kept warm by the shade of her nose. I don't know how you would be kept warm by it. Listen! It's a joke. It's a joke, and we're gonna move on from it. So Gabby meets with Armin, Mikasa, all of them to talk about Falco, to plead with them to get Falco back, and they're like, yeah, we don't have him. Our comrade took him and ran off. And I love the quote from Gabby here. She says she cannot give up on Falco. And I love that because she realizes that since Falco never gave up on Gabby, Gabby is never going to give up on Falco. And let me tell you right now, guys. Let me tell you right now. That's called friendship. That's love. If there is someone in your life who doesn't give up on you, even though you do like either, whether it be you do some mistake or even some crazy psychotic shit like killing Sasha, and Lobov, who is way more important than Sasha, that's also a joke. Don't hate me. Yeah. That's true love right there, my friend. I'm not talking about romantic love. I just mean genuine freaking love, dude. But since they all figure out that Reiner's hardening was undone, Mikasa's like, where is Reiner? And Armin is like, and then they both realize, and then the audience realizes, wait, all of the hardening has been undone? And then you immediately know from the way the room is lit and the torches, and you can hear the coughing too. Annie's back! She has been set free from her crystal that she purposely put herself in, and it's great. And I cannot wait, guys. I cannot wait for Annie to come back. She's even got the little ring thing that she took so that she can cut herself, which that out of context sounds terrible. And now we're gonna see Big Nose Annie come back. She's gonna hit everyone with those big nose. Those big nose? She's gonna hit everyone with her big nose, and she's going to marry me, and we are going to build a beautiful family under that big nose, sheltered from the entire world from Annie's nose. And I love making these jokes. We got to talk about the elephant in the room. Whose side is she on? Is she going to side with Eddie, or is she going to side with Marley again? Because she is on the side of Marley. It does seem like Annie's the kind of type that just goes with whatever side is the best for her, that just gets her back to her father. Because as we go back in the final season and the previous just seasons in general, she's very loyal to her family. She's not loyal to her job, which is a good life tip as well. By the way, if a job ever is like, yo, you're like, we as the job are your family now, just don't work there. That's a very bad idea. Very, very bad idea. That's called manipulation. So Annie is one of those people that would show up to one of those jobs and would be like, look at my big nose. You ain't fooling me. But I want to ask you guys in the comments below, whose side is Annie going to be on? The side of Paradis, the side of the Jaegerists, or the side of Marley? I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. With that being said, thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to have some extra videos coming out this week on, of course, Attack on Titan, some stuff that happened in the last episode, but as well, we're going to have a cool video, I think, that's going to be based off some of the events that happened in this episode. A video on that coming out later in the week. So make sure to subscribe and ring the bell if that's something you're interested in. Either way, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.